Usually, a college roommate is someone who's in your life very briefly. If it's someone randomly selected by your school, you're lucky if they shower regularly. But if you get to choose who you live with during that time in your life, odds are that it's someone you enjoy hanging out with. You'll probably go out to drink with them, share meals with them, maybe even be a member of their wedding party. You're more than likely not going to collaborate on several well-regarded films and score an Oscar nomination together. But not everyone can be Owen and Wes. Owen Wilson and Wes Anderson met in the English department at the University of Texas at Austin. They quickly found that they had a shared interest in film and, a year after graduating, started working on their first project together, a black and white short called Bottle Rocket. The short made it into Sundance and eventually to Polly Platt, who brought it to James L. Brooks. Brooks visited the boys in Texas and, in Matt Zoller cites as the Wes Anderson collection, Anderson talks about the impression they made on the Oscar-winning director. Jim Brooks had a name for the place we were all living in. A flop. That was what he called it. He'd say, they live in a one-bedroom flop. A terrible, terrible place. At a certain point we had me, Owen, Andrew, and Bob Musgrave, and sometimes Luke in this one apartment. Despite the cramped quarters, Brooks and Platt saw talent in the boys from Texas and decided to finance a feature version of the Bottle Rocket short through their production company Gracie Films. Owen Wilson starred in the film with his brother Luke, and Anderson directed. They co-wrote it together, coming up with an indelible character in Dignan, a hopeless, aspiring thief. Out of all their films together, Dignan is my favorite Wilson performance. He's sweet, but his compulsion for stealing hints at something darker under the surface. While Dignan is a comical character, saying and doing funny things, the movie never condescends to him and lets him keep his dignity. The second Wilson-Anderson collaboration is on the film Rushmore. They co-wrote the script about a love triangle between a weird teenager, a depressed rich guy, and a grieving teacher. Although Wilson doesn't act in the film, eagle-eyed viewers can spot him playing the teacher's deceased husband, Edward Appleby, in photographs here and here. Collab number 3 is the last film they've written together, The Royal Tenenbaums. Anderson directs and Wilson stars as Eli Cash, a drug-addicted college professor and author who wrote the bestseller Old Custer.
Well, everyone knows Custer died at Little Bighorn. What this book presupposes is, maybe he didn't?
Owen gets to act across from his brother Luke again, this time playing a drastically different character. Tenenbaums earned the pair an Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay. They lost to Julian Fellowes for Gosford Park, a film which, in a bizarre Sarris wheel connection, has Jeremy Northam playing Ivor Novello. Check out Ivor Novello's spotlight using the link in the description. Their fourth film together is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, in which Wilson plays Ned Plimpton, a Kentucky airline pilot who may or may not be Steve Zissou's son. Wilson is once again playing a very sweet and innocent character who gets taken advantage of, this time by his would-be father, an underwater documentarian and explorer played by Bill Murray. Wilson and Murray play off each other pretty well, and it's fun to watch as Ned assimilates into the bizarre world of Team Zissou. The Darjeeling Limited marks the last significant starring role for Wilson in an Anderson film. He plays Francis, a man who leads his two brothers in a luxury train across India. He's literally bruised and battered with his face in bandages for most of the movie. It's an eerie sight, but the injuries don't stop him from getting in squabbles with his siblings, played by Jason Schwartzman and Adrian Brody. It's probably Anderson's most downbeat film, but I do find Wilson's performance moving as he slowly strengthens his brotherly bonds. Collaboration number 6 is a different sort of film altogether. Wes Anderson's first stop-motion animated film features Wilson in the role of Coach Skip, an albino river otter. While the coach isn't that important to the overall plot, Wilson nails his comic rhythm explaining the intricate rules of Whack-Bat. Their next project together, the Grand Budapest Hotel, amounts to little more than a cameo. Wilson portrays Monsieur Chuck, who has taken over the zigzag-occupied hotel in Monsieur Gustave's absence. He's only in a few shots of the film and doesn't leave too much of an impression, other than providing the opportunity for someone to point at the screen and say, "Psst, there's Owen Wilson." Finally, we come to collaboration number 8, which is the mysterious new film The French Dispatch. The film itself isn't a mystery, but it is unknown exactly the size and scope of Wilson's role within it, since it hasn't been released in theaters yet. He's credited as Herb Saint Sazerac, a writer for the French Dispatch, and judging from the trailer, he has a bicycle, I guess? Time will tell. And now we're caught up to the present. 8 major collaborations spread across 4 decades. Whoever would have thought such a fruitful partnership could blossom from, in the words of James L. Brooks, a flop of an apartment. If you'd like more videos about directors and their stars, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on this channel. And, as always, the Sarris wheel spins on.